Hello, I'm Laura Trant. Welcome to South Today. In tonight's programme, an emotional return tributes to the missing crew member as HMS Westminster comes home to Portsmouth. 5 men are back behind bars tonight after being found guilty of their part in a riot at Ford Open Prison in West Sussex. The mutiny on New Year's Day 2011 caused millions of pounds worth of damage. Well, today, Lee Roberts was found guilty of violent disorder and reckless arson. Well, we are having a sensational evening here at the Intech Science Centre near Winchester. I imagine you can sense the level of excitement that's going on behind me, and also the nerves, because this choir later on are going to be singing Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water, a beautiful song.
Really well.
And you went on to big successes in Australia, but it hasn't been plain sailing for you, has it? Because you were told you were diabetic, and then some years later you suffered a really nasty stroke.
Yeah, look, it was a career progression.
Now, for many people with an interest in playing or listening to music, the late, great John Peel was an inspirational figure. As a Radio 1 DJ from 1967 until his death in 2004, he was responsible for playing an eclectic range of music and championing bands like The Fall, Roxy Music and The Smiths. Now, some 25,000 of his vinyl LPs, his entire record collection, are being put online as part of a project to share his infectious passion for music. But for one band from Southampton, that came as a bit of a surprise when they discovered 2 of their albums from 20 years ago were part of the collection. Well, Dan O'Farrell and Richard Barrett are from the band Acring. Well, Sophie, along this beautiful and very blustery stretch of Chesil Cove, about 80 guillemots have washed up so far today. Only about 20 of those have survived. Now, 25,000 orcs live off of the Dorset coastline alone. So over the coming hours and days, more and more are likely to be washed up. And that's a very real fear. Now, Mark Smith joins me now from the Dorset Wildlife Trust. You've actually got one of these guillemots. Talk us through the damage that's being done to them.
Well, this is one of the lucky ones that we've rescued alive.
And Mark, there must be a knock-on impact here to other marine life.
Yes, this substance seems to float just below the surface of the water.
Mark, thank you very much. Well, guillemots and some other birds have been found right along the south coast, all the way from Cornwall along to Sussex. And they're being given a combination of washing up liquid and margarine to remove that nasty substance which is clogging up their feathers. Then they'll be returned to where they belong, the sea.
During half a century of Bond films, and our reporter Laura Trant joins us from there this morning. Morning, Laura. Look at that. It's gorgeous.
Hello, a very good morning to you, Sian and Bill. Now, look at this car. I'm sure you'll recognise it. It's, of course, the Aston Martin DB5, used in a number of the James Bond films. And here's a Rolls-Royce, completely beautiful, isn't she? Now, the scientists out there, well, you'll recognise that on the number plate here, AU, of course, means gold on the periodic table. This type of genocide walk, as it's called, has never been filmed before. A group of widows supported by Masada and 2 men describe in graphic detail how they survived the machetes. Odette's husband was killed here.
Alexei, my husband, was here, and this man was there, the second on the line.
I'm in the gardens of Nurabure Church, and look at this big avocado tree full of ripe fruit. It's a stark contrast to the memorial area where we've just seen piles of clothes of the 35,000 people that were massacred here. Right now, I am at the heart of the furzy garden from the New Forest. Below me are swathes of colour and foliage, and today the team here have made a world first at Chelsea, and that's because it's involved a group of young people with learning disabilities who've been involved every single step of the way. That's never happened here before, but this year, in its 99th year, it has. Well, I've had a wonderful look around today. Here are some of the highlights. All the gardens here are impressive, from urban chic to country cool. But this one, the furzy garden, is the one where you want to sit, curl up and read a good book. And that's what James Bond is all about. It's symbolism with the cars. And this Jaguar XKR, look at those rockets on the side of the car. It was used in Die Another Day. And all of these impressive cars here at the exhibition have allowed me to enter into the world of 007.
You're joking.
This car makes you want to do bad things. It makes you want to put things to the test.
Paul Clifton, BBC South Today, Surrey.
What an interesting man, what amazing memories. You know.
Some great archive footage as well
Definitely now he's going to be writing them down. Well, on to the weather forecast. Alexis is here. We had a lovely weekend, the kind of weekend we've been waiting for weeks, but you've just told me it's not going to last at all.
It's pretty much... Tuesday looks better, though.
Oh, she's an optimist, isn't she? That's all from us this evening. Our next updates are in BBC Breakfast. Good night.